Hello, and welcome back to Let's Make. This series is about me trying to make a Warrior Cats comic and documenting that process. Today, we're going to be taking a bit of a look at the doc and seeing kind of how everything is changed in the last few weeks. And we're going to also talk about the map part I did with these characters, explaining that. So let's start here. Looks different. I just organized some stuff, put things. I love this process of just organizing. It helps me understand everything better, and this is very quick and easy to find. So I put all my little generators in line. I made a few of my own to help with figuring out the deaths. I have the plot here when I'm ready, and I've answered a few of these questions that we can go over real quick. So these were some of the questions that I mentioned last time that I want to answer to help me kind of build an understanding of this world and this clan. So we have Treeclan here, 20 cats. Here's all the listed ranks. Basically, are they religious? How strongly? It reads, Treeclan is very religious. They believe in StarClan, and they all believe that the animals and plants around them are grown because they are the ancestors that have passed. StarClan is more of a figure that they don't get direct answers from, but visions and ideas that are then only helpful through being interpreted by the clan itself. To join StarClan is natural for all things, unless one takes advantage of life. A cat that kills unnecessarily or does so with negative purpose is doomed to wander as a lost spirit until they fade away into nothingness. Clan policies and politics. The next question is a little bit more interesting to how the story works. Treeclan is a guarded and closed off clan, but not unwelcome. A few of the outsiders are related to or were once a part of Treeclan, so those are like welcome around the territory. They don't directly encourage having outsiders join their clan, but they also don't chase them off in case of having new members. When outsiders are on their territory, they politely will ask them to leave, then get physical and aggressive when necessary. Most situations don't escalate to violence if there is no need, and outsiders can temporarily be welcomed in if they are in need of healing. Some general sickness is basically because these cats climb trees all day. I basically mentioned that they deal with like thorns and splinters, as well as sprain, injured, or broken bones, and they also can deal with injuries from falling branches. Training here is that they will become apprentices at 6 months old, and then apprentices will become warriors from 11 to 16 moons old, and then warriors are considered elder warriors or senior warriors when they're about 8 to 9 years old, and retire when they are 10 or older. The medicine cats and leader can force a warrior to retire, but most retire willingly, and a general history is that they were founded because they were half of another clan that had gotten too big to support itself, and a cat newly named Tree Star basically just took over leadership and brought all these cats together. Probably the next part that I want to do in this series is about the other clans. And here is a little plot that is important, but we will talk about that in a second. I also threw together the screenshots just so I have them. And then here is the clan index. This is basically what I do for a lot of like Warrior Cat stories and world building and stuff that I put together. I need to write more of what their clan is like, but this is a good start of just talking about how the fact that they live among trees and they grow muscles to climb them, and Here are a few distinctive places that I think are really interesting, like the Star Tree, which is a giant sequoia tree that is in their territory. Harvester Creek, a little creek. Blackburn, forest fire that is a part of the plot of some of the characters. White Petal Meadow is where they teach apprentices. The Mighty Oak is where they teach apprentices how to climb trees, basically. And Emergency Camp is obviously what it sounds. They have an emergency camp because of like forest fires and all sorts of nonsense. Here are just some trees that I can reference for their clan. It's some nice trees. Here's some prey, and then here's a few rules that are basically just apprentices learn how to climb. Every warrior is going to have one apprentice. Apprentices only graduate with a certain thing, a few certain like things they need to do, like maneuvering the territory successfully and holding their own in combat. And then here is all of the members just in the little ranks. They're all a little color organized. Everyone's got an apprentice gone to warriors. I don't know if they said any of that. No, not in the screenshots. So I just gave everyone their own apprentice. So we have Myrtle Snow here with Wren Paw, Ember Blossom with Outer Paw, Sky Leaves with Swan Paw, Snake Fang with Storm Paw, and Cinnamon Hawk with Lynx Paw. Fellow Gorse and Flutterleaf are pretty young, so they're not having their own apprentices yet, and no Medicine Cat apprentice. So this is just kind of what that looks like, and then I decided to put together a family tree, which is interesting. So Rat and an unknown cat had Whispering Star. Rat, if you don't remember, is an outsider, one of our rogues here, and I broke those up into different categories. So Rat had Whispering Star, and her mate Night Shadow had Tempest Moon, who is one of our queens right here, and Tempest Moon and her mate Panther Cloud had Wren Paw and Storm Paw, these two right here. And then a different family tree is Cinder Mountain and Apple Talon, who are these two. Basically had Myrtle Snow, who is our deputy, and another cat, Redleaf, and Flicker Flame, who is not alive, had Ember Blossom, our oldest warrior, and Sky Leaves and Cinnamon Hawk. So Sky Leaves right here, and Cinnamon Hawk had Snake Fang, and another cat, Bird Whistle. Swamp Dusk right here had a mate named Honey Bumble, and they had Amber Gaze, Yellowpaw, and Marsh being our loner right here. And then Deer Stride and Amber Gaze, so that being Swamp Dusk's daughter, I believe, had a Fellow Gorse, Flutterkit, Bugkit, and Mosskit, or Flutterleaf, my bad, had these two. These two are pretty young. And then the last is Rattling Throat. Here had a mate in Songbird Feather, long name. They had Dove Meadow and Angel. Angel is our kitty pet right here. And then Angel and Frost Step, before she left the clan, had Sleek River, Creek Paw, and Flower Kit. So Sleek River, our other cat, and then Sleek River and Aspen Breeze had the last of our three apprentices, Lynx, Adder, and Swan Paw. Yeah. And then that is that family tree, and then I'm working on long character pages of each of the cats that will basically detail story, personality, important quick detail. Like I have special age ranges for each cat, basically. Let me actually go find that real quick. Okay, so it is this chart that I use. It basically shows child for the first 5 moons, adolescent for the next like year, so to 18 moons, and then 19 to 36, young adult as an adult for the next 3 years, and then 5 years middle-aged adult senior at 11 to 14, and then elder at 14 plus. So yeah, that's basically the age range right here. So senior, she is 11 right here. Yeah. And then it also has like their current partners, sexuality, blah blah blah, things just to keep track of. I've only done so far 2, and then started on the 3rd for fringe spots, but it takes a lot of information to put together, and I'm not exactly sure the direction I want to go for all of these characters. So there's that, but I do have a general like story direction idea for like the beginning, how I want, because I want the beginning to cover the death of our leader and deputy, because if you remember, the plot that I wanted to have this run on was basically power vacuum, leader and deputy die, clan is left to figure out who was in charge afterwards. So I basically want to have the first bit of the comic cover Whispering Star and Myrtle Snow's death. And figuring out how they died was going to be the biggest challenge, which is where this comes in line. So the little plot thing was basically asking how they died, and I randomized it with these randomizers that I made just so I can figure out what to do. So basically, in this was basically how the cat died. There are 5 options, and if I got a 6, I would just pick myself. I'd just pick for myself. So this is basically just natural causes: killed by another cat, killed by another animal, sickness, poisoned. Action behind the death: was it an accident, like a genuine accident, an accident in quotes, on purpose, or premeditated / planned. Reason for it: accident, rivalry, enemies, impersonal, resentment / jealousy, heat of the moment, or a part of a bigger plan. And then relationship to the killer is awesome. It's one of the things that made this very difficult. So related by blood, mate / ex-mate, friend / best friend, apprentice or mentor / former apprentice or mentor, clan rival / enemy, non-clan rival / enemy, or unrelated. And was the killer found out? No, never found out. No, never found out, but always thought guilty. Yes, witnessed. Yes, immediately found out. And yes, eventually found out. And then the punishment, which was very interesting, which is no acknowledgement or punishment. Acknowledgement, but no punishment. Light verbal punishment, light physical punishment, heavy verbal punishment, heavy physical punishment, temporary banishment since exile, and banishment since exile, and then death. So, if this is interesting to you, feel free to take these. This is just what I put together in like an hour while trying to figure out this plot, and let's read about how our leader died. So Whispering Star died from sickness by accident. Her death was caused by her ex-mate Night Shadow due to jealousy. While no cat would consider this death anything but normal death and sickness, especially because she's up there in age. She's almost 12 years old. Many cats were certain that Night Shadow was bitter enough to do something like this. He was not a part of the clan anymore, obviously. We just went through the clan. And he's been kind of roaming on his own for a while. So to see that, like, that relationship fell apart, no one would be surprised if Night Shadow came back. And what I'm thinking is that he poisoned her through prey or herbs or something, because he was bitter and upset by the way that their relationship died. basically how I wrote it in her character profile was this section right here. Night Shadow was a handsome and charismatic Tom that was close with crows and ravens that could be found nearby the clans. He found her interesting whenever she would spend long hours alone just observing nature. They shared a love for everything that could be found. However, she was chosen as deputy over him, and he was jealous, especially when she was with a litter at the time. He hid it well and ended up getting himself banished after he killed her, taking one of her first lives. Whispering Star was never the same after and isolated from others, only allowing her deputy to close the gap. Her death, as it was before, was at his paws, and she's unsurprised to know that he would be there at the end of everything. So, yeah. Lovers' quarrel ended in her death, completely unrelated to our other death, and, Whispering Star basically is on her deathbed at the beginning. I think she would die second, but she would be showing signs of death first because, basically I think that she would be very sick or in the, almost catatonic state, and then our deputy would die and she would die shortly after. So, Myrtle Snow died from an attack from another cat through an accident. His death was caused by an apprentice or mentor of his, more likely an apprentice, and it was done from a bit of rivalry, most likely a playful rivalry. The accidental death was witnessed, and the killer, in quotes, was heavily punished through many conversations. So this threw me for a loop. I was really confused, first of all, who his apprentice was, because I didn't pick until more recently, and just how he was going to be dying. So figuring that out was a big struggle, but basically the story that I've put together is that Myrtle Snow had Renpaw as an apprentice, Renpaw here, and as it says in this, which I'm going to try to base my personalities off of, she is independent and leaderly and always seeking the thrill of danger, which I guess would make them have a fun rivalry, and I believe I mentioned it in his bio somewhere that, one of the few cats that was able to open up his walls and really get to know him was his energized and enthusiastic apprentice, Renpaw. Basically, he felt a lot younger by having her around and actually really enjoyed training her. The two ended up developing this fun, chaotic rivalry, and then that accidentally left to his death when he, I'm just gonna say, drowned, question mark? I'm not sure exactly how he died. It would be because of her, maybe possibly going to save her, but it would be completely an accident, and she would have been nowhere near wanting to kill him, and that is why I think she was only punished through being verbally talked through it, because sure, a death is on her paws, but also it's an accidental death, and she doesn't seem like the type to murder another cat. Okay, so moving on from that, I actually want to talk about the map part, because that is basically covering what I think is the beginning of this. So let's go take a quick look at that map part. I have it pulled up right here. I'm not going to play audio, but I'm sure you could kind of hear it from my other set of headphones. So yeah, let's just slowly go through this. So here we have Whispering Star, lying dead, sick, and she looks out into the camp clearing at all of our warriors here. We have Myrtle Snow right here in the center. We have finch spots with some herbs right here. I'll show a better picture in a few minutes. We have Ember Blossom. We have Sky Leaves right here. That is Snake Fang right here. Cinnamon Hawk. We have Fallow Gorse and Flutterleaf. And then we go to this image, and this is Sleek River. I believe Adderpaw and then Swanpaw, and then our Adderpaw's right here, Swanpaw and Lynxpaw, and then our 4 elders, and that is Cinnamon Mountain. This is Apple Talon, Swamp Dusk, and Rattling Throat. And then last we have Tempest Moon, who I adore, Renpaw back here, and right next to her we have Stormpaw. So that is everyone in there. Let's go look at, oh yeah, this is chaotic. This is basically what working on this part looks like. So I try to save as much designs as I can, but let's take a quick peek through the shots of each of these. So, come on, image. Oh, it's gonna take a second to load. Come on, computer. Okay, so here's the final shot for basically 1 out of 5. So here's the shot, here's the sketch. Looks great. Here is the final shot with a different background. I did this before. I was politely asked to change it to be a lot more fall and orangey, which is where we got this background. I don't know why I never made a finished shot with this background. I probably did, but I guess I got lost somewhere. And then we have, here's the sketch with basically all of the characters and beautiful little sketches. Here we have this full shot of the 3rd, so the Sleek River family. Okay, yeah, I was right. Swanpaw is on the middle, Lynxpaw is on the outside, and Adderpaw is over here. Then we have all 4 elders. They were supposed to be a little bit more turned with their faces to the side, but I decided to basically have everyone face away from the camera, except for some of the warriors that I couldn't show everyone in this shot with having their faces obscured, but I wanted basically the Whispering Star family to be the only ones that were actually looking at the camera, because she's looking at the camera. Everyone is looking down. I mean, you could kind of say he's looking at the camera, but he's looking down. And then we would have this final shot where I wish she was looking more. She's looking at the crowd. She's looking at the camera, and she's looking at her sister. And this sketch was, yeah, nice. So that is basically kind of what the sketch process looked like, where everyone was. I decided to use all 20 cats because I was crazy. That's why it took so long. That's why I was a bit stressed because I had to draw 20 cats, and I tried to save as many designs as I could and that I thought were interesting. So let's go through a few designs, and then I'll talk about like some of the process and like how this worked. So Whispering Star, her design very basic. Love this gray. Decided to try to keep this as much as possible. Very detailed. I like to give old cats a little bit of scraggly like beard. And also I don't really do this like gum line usually, because I'm never doing such like zoomed up detail that I have space for it, but I decided to add it, and it looks nice. It really brings it together. This basically shape of this, I don't know what you would call it, like plus sign on her face, is basically something that gets passed down to Renpaw. Renpaw has basically a very similar design with the with gray, but grayish brown, and that same like 4 points like plus sign. And yeah, I was really unsure of how to do cheek fluff. I wish I probably made her more like her grandmother, because I think that would be a better choice, but I like her colors. These are all, first of all, gotta say, these are all just first draft designs. I did not do character sheets or anything. These are just first draft designs. So we can go next with Whispering Star's daughter and granddaughter. So here we have Tempest Moon. I love her. And then we have Stormpaw. These two have the same colors. These two have the same eyes, and she's got the same eyes as her mom. So Tempest Moon has actually become probably my favorite character and probably the protagonist. I don't know why, but as I've been planning basically the story and how like I want to tell it, Tempest Moon has been the one I want to tell it through. You can also see that I did the whisker after. I wanted to tell about, like, I wanted Whispering Star's death to feel personal, and how much more personal would it feel than having it be told through her daughter. And because of basically Renpaw accidentally causing the death of Myrtle Snow, I wanted that also to be personal, and I thought how to make that more personal, but also not directly seeing into Renpaw's mind, but having her mother deal with it. So I'm thinking that basically either it's going to be just Tempest Moon, or Tempest Moon and both of her daughters, or one of her daughters, as like protagonists, because I think that Tempest Moon is a good vessel for how the story could be told, and I just adore her a lot. And Stormpaw and Renpaw here both are very interesting characters that I would also love to shine some spotlights on. Basically, so Stormpaw has, design-wise, the same colors as her mom. They all have these like family white eyebrows. That's just the trait they have from Whispering Star. And I decided to give one paw, and Tempest Moon is a little moon in her head, because I thought that would be cute. She also does have this one long whisker that I might mess around with trying to perfect or get better. So yeah, there is that, and let's look at some other designs. So let's look at the Sleek River family. Sleek River and all of her kits all have the same, except for Adderpaw. Adderpaw has black instead. I'll look at Link's Paw's design in a minute because we can actually see their legs, but he's got darker ears and a dark tail. And where did I even save the design? Yeah, I did. Swan Paw. So yeah, Swan Paw, we see some legs, and that's this kind of just spotted. We don't see any of their faces, so I didn't think about really doing any face designs. And the elders are kind of the same way, where I think the colors are fine in these cases for the Sleek River family, but I didn't end up saving any of those. I don't think I saved any of the elders either. Yeah, I'm not seeing them. I just didn't really like their designs or their colors. I need to take another shot at all of them. The only one that I think would be fine is Rattling Throat, because Rattling Throat has the same colors as Sleek River, and just about the same design. Something that frustrates me though is that if we take a look at Sleek River and Tempest Moon, they have like the same cheek fluff. If you look, this like downward and also this downward, and that would be the first thing I would want to change if running through these designs again, because that is frustrating. I was getting so tired towards the end, but I wasn't even thinking. So let's now take a look at Rattlesnow. I did a full body, but his full body is covered in the final shot, so his colors were an absolute nightmare to get, and I still want to take another look at it to try to get it better. He's got these black markings and white paws, wrong button, and white paws, white little tail tip, white muzzle, and a burn scar on his face from the burn that happened in the territory. And then I want to say I did not save French Spot's design, but I did get Ember Blossom. Ember Blossom is actually probably the only design that I actually really like out of this batch, besides like the Whispering Star family, because their designs are also really nice and simple, except Fluff. I want to change around Fluff. Ember Blossom here, colors immaculate, awesome. The only thing I'd change is eyes. Probably make this this lighter, and then this maybe a little bit darker. And she's on top. Her layer is on top, but her layer actually is supposed to go behind. This is just the order in which I drew. So this is her uncle and niece, and I wanted to give similar patterning so you can actually see the back stripe, the leg, shoulder stripes, and the stomach stripes are the same, as well as the tail, just not the same with the white, but she does have the one cheek and not the tail tip, and she's got a chest, or belly and chest. So next to that line, I think it's just Cinnamon Hawk is next. I tried to keep as many designs as I could, but I really did not like many of them. So, yeah, just a white design, not very nice. Was not happy with this design either, or the colors at least. Not a good pose for that design. Did not like this at all. But Cinnamon Hawk, I don't know what it is about dark red. I got really good with 2 dark red characters that I actually enjoyed. Yeah, I think I would probably make this maybe a little bit more orangish. That would be my only complaint. But other than that, I really like Cinnamon Hawk. And Felagorse is first, and then Flutterleaf. Felagorse is alright. Not terrible markings, but not very interesting markings either. And very similar markings with Flutterleaf here. Just a little slightly different colors. More goldish with Felagorse and more brown with Flutterleaf, and that is that. All of these here are just the individual PNGs. This one was the copy because this one is damaged. You can actually see outline and rough. I just went back in and I blurred a lot of it. It didn't save as like a PNG, or it did and it had like the background on it, so I had to like go in and remove the background. That happened also with her, but I managed to salvage it. But you can definitely see where I put thicker and I couldn't blend. Yeah, it looks bad, but because it's small in the actual part and it moves, that you're only going to notice it, because now I'm slowly going through it. Looks great. They all have this glow that you can notice on the outside, which made trying to salvage them when they got corrupted, like these two, very difficult, like, because you can see that because there was an outside glow that got clipped into the character model itself, like right here, perfect example. Because it was light, and light was the same as the little glow on their fur, then that just took out a chunk. I know that happened on her in several places that I fixed. Yeah. Nice design, because it's very simple. Just white and a little gray. Do not like him very much. I don't know what it is, I just do not like this design very much. I was not having a good time doing it. I need to go back and change this ginger color to something better. Cinnamon Hawk looks great, but the shading was very dark and it almost makes him just blend in. I wish I made him look down a little bit more, like have the pupils lowered. Not much to say about him. Nice background. They all look the same. It's the only one that looks different because he's so dark you can't even hardly tell color difference. New background. These three. I had a really hard time getting the poses right because I tried to get like the muzzle in it, but because it was different than this where I could actually like show muzzle without fluff, I had to mostly do like this where you can actually see this part right here is supposed to be cobwebs, but because I can only show so much of the muzzle without fur, like this is short fur, so I can get away with showing the muzzle, it just turns out to look bad if I tried, and awkward, or like their face is broken. Spots, not great. I want to take another shot at these designs, coloring, and just how they look in the first place. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with, I think this is Swamp Dusk. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Swamp Dusk, but, very tall. Do not like it. Rattling throat looks okay. I did not notice this glow. Thankfully you don't see it in the map part anyways, cause it's like zoomed in a lot and you only see like her paws by the end. The only thing I don't like about the dark characters and all this shading is that you actually kind of lose their face a little bit, so you don't really get to see what her expression looks like, which is like downturn. And yeah, kind of similar here, except she's definitely a little bit lighter. And that's that, yeah. So that's basically a behind the scenes of the map part. So I'm gonna go back through it one more time, slowly to explain it. So here we have, again, Whispering Star watching. She's dying. She's looking out. We see it like twist, turn as she's looking. We see everyone rushing in to the deputy who has just been brought back to camp after being waterlogged. They're trying to give him herbs, anything to help. If we actually go back to shot 2, we can take a look at the herbs that she has in particular. These are the better ones that don't look so damaged. This is just like a flower and a little leaf and some berries and more leaves and a little maple, and then cobwebs being gotten right here. So everyone's running in and you can see them all moving. So everyone's coming in, watching, trying to protect, and these guys are moving in. And then we get to this family watching. The elders are watching and guarded, kind of closed off. We have mom and sister trying to protect because Renpa allegedly caused the death of the deputy. So yeah, there is that. Thanks for watching. I know this was a long, chaotic video, but this is basically the progress that I've made. I'm interested in continuing more, excited for the story, and yeah, having a lot of fun with this so far. In the next episode, I would either like to tackle these questions about new clans, or tackle these questions about how the clan feels with the loss, but I kind of feel like these questions will have to wait until these are answered, because I just feel like some of these would be affected by the answers for these, like who does the decision fall on. It's possible that the answer is like another clan's leader or whatever, and that would be answered here if we even have other clans. And of course there are a couple of characters in our family tree that are dead, but there are also a couple who are roaming around but are not seen on this list, who are possibly in another clan, like Panther Cloud right here, Tempest Moon's mate, possibly in another clan, which is something to keep in mind. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll find an easy way to edit every time the recorder goes out. So see you and Treeclan in another episode, or I don't know, maybe I'll get crazy and do a PMV.